Once you know the syntax for it, the way plotting works in Mathematica is pretty intuitive. For example, say I want to plot x squared. Well, we're always going to use a capital letter, plot, then square brackets for what I want to plot. So it's not quite this easy. Not quite as easy as saying plot x squared, but it's almost that easy. Then I put a comma. Here in the error it said it's expecting 2 arguments, so that means there should be 2 arguments separated by a comma, 2 inputs separated by a comma. And then the second argument, the second input, that's supposed to be what's the x range that I want to plot, and what's the variable. So I say I want to plot x from, how about, -5 to 5. And there that looks like an y equals x squared plot. If I want to plot 2 things, it's very similar. Say I do x squared and x cubed. And this is still 2 arguments because here I've put these into a list. So the first argument is a list of the functions I want to plot, and then the second argument is the same. It's what are the x values, what's the x range. So here we go. And what if I want to zoom in? Like, for example, what if I only want to see from -10 to 10 in the y range? How can I do that? Well, I can put a second comma here for a third input, and then there's a phrase in Mathematica called plot range. And pay attention to this, because if you just look at what I type, you won't be able to figure it out. Next comes an arrow, and the way I make an arrow is I do a minus sign, like this, and then an angle bracket. And as soon as I type something else, it's going to become typeset, and so it's going to be a lot harder to tell how I made it. But here you can tell pretty easily. Minus sign, then an angle bracket. And now I'm supposed to give it, here's a list of lists. First element in the list is what's the x range, and I'll say the exact same, -5 to 5. The next list in my list of lists is going to be what's the y range, what's the range of this output that I want to show, and then I'm going to say -10 to 10. So this is how you plot 2 functions or more functions. I could also have a sign of x here. And how am I going to make sign of x? Well, as long as you remember to use a capital letter for the first letter, and as long as you remember to use square brackets, then you'll do it correctly. So here are 3 functions. Here's x squared in blue, here's x cubed in orange, and here's sign of x in green. And if you want to get information about other options for plot, you can always go to the help menu, do $plot, and especially if I click on these arrows, then I can see a lot of different options for it. For example, say I want to use this plot label option. Okay, then I can just go over here, and the same way I did plot range, I could do plot label. Then I do an arrow just like before, and then make sure you use double quotation marks to put the name in a string. So double quotation marks, 3 graphs. And there you can see at the top appeared this phrase, 3 graphs. And there are all sorts of customizations that can be done in these options.